So tonight we just recently ended our Blue Christmas worship experience. And if you've never been to a Blue Christmas worship service or experience, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it and share what we did. Now, this is the winter solstice. This is the longest night of the year. More darkness tonight than any other night all year long. And a Blue Christmas service, a longest night service, invites people into a space, and it's not a traditional worship experience. It's one that focuses on the reality that this is not the most wonderful time of year for everybody. This is the 20th one that I've done, and it is my favorite service to do all year because it gives us a chance to just kind of be real and honest and messy and be comfortable bringing that into this space when sometimes during regular worship experiences we kind of feel like we have to put it on. So everyone that came was invited to have a paper ornament and write down on it what makes this season very difficult for them. Why is it a blue season for them? We also used secular music. We used I'll Stand By You by The Pretenders and Everybody Hurts by REM. Two songs that in my own personal journey have helped me be okay with not being okay. And it just reminds me that how universal love is and how universal pain can be. So we also light the Advent candles. And now, if you've grown up going to a church that acknowledges Advent, you're used to this. And each week has a theme. But I want to share with you the Blue Christmas version of the Advent candle. On our first Sunday, we lit a candle of hope. And it is really possible to come into the season and not have hope, to feel rather hopeless. And this is part of the great paradox, is that in a season of hope, there can also be hopelessness. Another week, we light a candle of peace. But come on, so many times we don't have peace within. With peace within our mind, our hearts. And peace is not the absence of war. It is the presence of feeling accepted and valued and knowing that tomorrow will be okay. But it is possible for both to exist at that same time. Then another week we light the candle of joy. You know, there is even that Christmas song, Joy to the World. But there might be times you're like, yeah, joy to the world, but not me. Like, man, I'm just really struggling and there's no joy. No joy. But it is possible to hold both at the same time. The great paradox. We light a candle of love, which seems so easy at times. But in all reality, there's times where we don't feel love for ourselves. We don't feel love for each other. We don't feel loved by one another. But it is possible to hold both at that same time. As Christians, when we light the Christ candle, we see it as a symbol that Christ is at the center of everything. Christ is able to hold together our moments of feeling hope and hopeless, of feeling peace and no peace, of feeling joy and no joy, and feeling loved and not loved at all, because Christ is right there. Christ understands. Now, maybe you don't rock and roll with Christ. Maybe that's just not your thing. But one thing I want to make sure you know tonight is that you are loved. And what you believe, whatever experiences you have had with a faith community, you know, we believe in a God that is so big, that no matter what you're going through, no matter what you have experienced, God knows and God is right with you. There's no expectation to show up perfect when it comes to God, because God just loves you right as you are and wants that relationship with you. And I know that's hard for some people to hear. You know, I also know that some people have been told that they're not welcomed in a church, or they're not welcome, or they've fallen out of favor with God. But you know what? In the book of Romans, it reminds us there is nothing, nothing at all that can separate us from the love of God. And you're like, yeah, but, Pastor, yeah, but, you know, this happened to me or that happened or whatever, and I guess everything happens for a reason. Well, I'm going to quote Kate Bowler, author and a realist, who just said, everything happens, but we don't always know the reason. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. And as I wrap up my time with you here tonight, just sharing a little bit of what we talked about tonight, I just want to remind you that the expectations others have of you at holiday times is a perfect invitation to sit down and have a conversation about what those expectations are and why. And just, sit down and talk with somebody and have that conversation. Man, that gift is some of the greatest gifts anybody can give. In fact, you know what? The greatest gift is Jesus and showing us how to love and live. But the greatest gift we can give one another is our time and our listening ear. So I'm going to conclude here by just reminding you that who you are makes a difference, that you are valued, and we just want to make sure you know that you are loved. Take care.